Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's Brooke, and today I'm coming to you with bad hair. I did SoulCycle and I tried to keep the blowout and it's just like, it's not working, you know? I'm also blending in with the background. I was like, oh, let me wear this crisp white little dress. And then I was like, wait, Brooke, the entire room is white. I wanted to just do like a fun, chatty catch up. I feel like it's been a minute since I've just like sat in front of my camera and just like yapped. I mean, I yap all the time in my vlogs, but you know what I mean? Like just yap about like certain topics that you guys have been repeatedly asking me about. So hopefully this addresses some frequently asked questions and we can gossip and spend some time together, because I feel like that's girlhood and you know, this is important. Lost up. First off, if you haven't been back to my channel in a while, hi, I'm in a new setting. Even though it doesn't really look much different now that I'm thinking about it, like it really doesn't look too different. But I am in a new home here in Brooklyn. I bought a condo. I moved in with my boyfriend. What the heck? A lot of the furniture is like stuff from my old place. Actually, the bed is new, but I'm still waiting for like my bedroom set to come, and then like we're getting a TV and whatever. The furniture is coming soon, so that will, you know, you'll see all of that new stuff in the vlogs to come. But what else has been up? Yeah, I moved in with my boyfriend, guys. What the heck? I've lived alone for like a minute now up until this point. Boston, and then my years in New York. So like there was like 4 years of me living alone, and then I moved in with my boyfriend. And I have to say, a lot of questions about that. I am loving it. For me, it was kind of like not even a question of like something that I wanted to do. I feel like I always, like when I was younger and like thought about my life, I was like, oh yeah. And once I've been like, you know, in a stable like long-term relationship, I would want to live with the person, you know, before any other like major commitments or anything. And not like in any sort of way of being like, oh, that's a prerequisite, but just more so being like, I want to live with that person, like experience life with them and see like how our lives are compatible. And I have to say, the most surprising thing for me is just like the amount of new things I feel like I've learned about my boyfriend. I feel like you think you know a person like so well, especially after dating for like, we've been dating for 2.5, almost 3 years. And I was like, I know everything there is to know about this guy. Like I just know how he is like going to react to certain things, what he likes, what he doesn't like. But when you really like live with someone and coexist with them, you just learn like it's a whole new like part of like their brain or part of like your relationship, I feel like unlocked in the best way possible. It's been going really well. I really like, I don't want to be like too corny, but like I really like, you know, coming home and like being together. So yeah, it's going really well. I am really glad that we did that though, you know, we're doing the damn thing. So questions about Brooklyn, you know, like how am I liking in here, like what's the new vibe, and I just feel so like right. I lived previous to this in Lower East Side, which you would think is like young, happening area, and it really is, but my specific area, like part of the Lower East Side, I feel like it was just a little bit more, I don't even know if we want to call it like chill or slow, but like immediate area there just wasn't like much. I feel like I now live so close to, you know, a Target, a Trader Joe's, so many coffee shops, so many restaurants, like shops, just everything is at my fingertips. I feel like it used to be in my brain, I would make it this whole big thing like, oh, okay, I have to go do this return or whatever. But now I feel like I'm just so close to things. Also, the trains are much more accessible. I feel like I'm in a really central area of Brooklyn. So like I have like every train line ever, like I could go really anywhere I need to go. Yeah, it's kind of what I expected with like, I feel like a lot of my activities and things are like in Manhattan. Tonight I'm going to a dinner in Manhattan and I kind of just like plan my day around it. Like it's not a big deal. I'm really only a little bit further than I was being in the Lower East Side from like from things like the travel time. It's really only like 10 to 15 more minutes than like it was. And of course then like if I have things in Brooklyn, I'm closer to that. I also just like kind of this separation, like mentally even, from being like, oh, okay, like I'm, you know, in Manhattan, like more hustle and bustle and like work and stuff. And then here I'm just like home, you know? My building is a lot of like young families and it just feels very like the next phase of life. Not that I'm there, I just, let me emphasize that, but it feels like I'm like growing up kind of. I'm not like a child. Okay, so many questions on just like my relationship in general. People are like, wait, what are you gonna do? My boyfriend's in medical school. He has a few more years left of like actual schooling before we like get to the point that we would like be having to do something with this. But when med students graduate, then they go into residency, and with residency, like you guys probably see the TikToks all the time, like the match day, you kind of like figure out where you're going. Of course you have to apply to these programs and stuff. This was all new information to me. I did not know anything about this before I started dating someone that's like in this realm, but basically you can essentially be placed like anywhere, and you kind of need to apply everywhere to like keep your options open, things like that. So a lot of people are like, you know, when your boyfriend goes into residency, what are you gonna do? I will be going with him. By that point, we'll have been dating for like, you know, many more years on top of the 3 years we've already been together. So that's not even like a question in my mind. People are probably like, if you have to leave New York City, like what would you do with, you know, this new condo you bought? My goal also with this condo, people are like, you know, how long do you want to keep it, whatever. I have a 30-year mortgage on this place. So technically I'm gonna have it for 30 years unless I like, and I can get out of it earlier if I wanted to, but like it's an asset, you know, that I want to hold. I always want to like have a place in New York City, even if I'm renting it out to someone else, which is what I would likely do if I, you know, had to leave New York City, let's just say go across the country or something. I mean, I could keep this place for when I needed to travel here or something, or what I would likely do is rent it out to a family, a person, whoever, and make back that like money, you know, their rent essentially, because I would still be paying my mortgage. I don't feel really like tied down with that because I feel like I have a lot of options. It's not necessarily like, oh, now I have to sell it. Like, no, I would love for someone to live here and then, you know, their rent would pay my mortgage essentially. We're talking finance here. We're getting into it. I guess like the TLDR is like, yes, I would go with my boyfriend wherever needed. I love him very, very much, and I'm so proud of him. And also like I have the flexibility of my job. Like, yes, does it make the most sense for me currently at this point to be in New York City? Without a doubt. But luckily I have a few years before we have to cross that bridge. I do feel like career-wise and just like my life-wise, being in New York City makes the most sense for me right now and for the next few years. But life happens, you know, if things come up and like another opportunity or something, like that is something that I will do, because I think that's also like part of, you know, being in a partnership, right? Like I wouldn't be dating this person if I wasn't willing to make major life moves together. Not just dating, I feel like long-term dating, because I feel like it's different. Like I feel like I passed like a threshold, like, you know, a year and a half in where I was like, oh, we're in this, you know? It's just so great. So that's on that. We're just getting all the relationship questions out of the way. People are like, now that you moved in, are you gonna get engaged? I didn't see, just so we're clear, like I didn't see it as like a prerequisite, like before we get engaged, meaning like we have to physically live together and then we'd get engaged like immediately after. Like no. I wanted to, and I want to like experience being together, like making big decisions, making monetary decisions, making, you know, like decor decisions, like whatever it is, because we're like, you know, doing this together, and have time pass, just so we're clear. Like I guess it's not clear like when you're like, oh, I want to like live together before I'm engaged, like what does that mean? Does that mean 1 month? Does that mean a year? That is not like on my horizon for a minute, just so I'm clear. You're clear. Also with just going to so many weddings and seeing, you know, my friends go through that phase of life, I'm realizing that this stuff really adds up, guys. And, you know, I just made a big financial move with buying this place. I feel like before I would consider being ready to be engaged, I need like a significant amount of like more time, because I want to be in like a pretty strong financial position before I do that. I am like a romantic at heart. Like I do see things as like, you know, you're in love and whatever, but like that's a huge life decision. Like you're binding your life with someone else's like legally. So you're like, you know, tying all your assets, everything. Like I just want to have all of my ducks in a row before that. And I feel like giving myself a little bit more time and comfortability like that for me is what I need. So I just want to keep it real, because I feel like everybody's just like, you're in love, like get engaged, and it's like, that's great, but like I don't know, we don't have to see things the same way. But that's just like I'm just kind of like, what's the rush? I really am living my best life, honestly. If I would have pictured for myself what my dream life would be a few years ago, and you guys, a lot of you have commented and been like, I've seen the growth in you, whatever, which is really, really sweet. But if I were to like watch vlogs of myself when I first moved to the city, like this is what I wanted, you know, this is what I wanted to like just feel like at peace, and I really, really, truly do. So I just want to be clear. Not that I believe that I'm the best to answer any of these questions, but a lot of like style questions, like how do you, you know, find your style, clothes in general. I talked to one of my best friends, Mariah, on the phone the other day. We were just talking about like outfits and like just honestly just life in general, and she was like, you know, your style is really like leveled up since college. It has but it also like needed to. She was kind of like, you know, like it's, I feel like it's because like you're in New York and like you see a lot of like people that have like really cool individual style, and like your confidence has grown. I feel like a lot of style really is confidence and like body confidence, and not being afraid to like rock a look which like I've talked about that before. But I feel like this year I've just become a lot more like aware of like when I look at something, I can be like, that's me or that's not me. And not to say that I wouldn't wear things that like aren't me, but I feel like I've started to curate a wardrobe, and I'm starting to like just pick pieces and, you know, be more aware of like personal style and like making that like a cohesive thing versus just like wearing an outfit because it's trendy. I do wear trendy outfits, yes, like for sure, but I try to like look at my wardrobe and just pieces that I pick or pieces that I rent or anything is like more like a cohesive thing. I feel like that has come about subconsciously. Once again, like I feel like I definitely get inspired by social media, people I see out and about in New York. I feel like my eye has gotten better when I'm like looking at like a shop window. You know, I literally went to H&M today, was looking at the window display, and I was like, oh, like this I would wear, this I would not wear, I would wear that skirt. Like I'm just starting to like get a better eye for that sort of thing. I feel like that takes growing up. I feel like I'm gonna go through many more style evolutions. I'm sure I'm gonna look back on this outfit in like a few years and be like, girl, what were you doing? Have you had any welcome parties for the new house? Not yet. I have 2 in mind. I think we're gonna do like a barbecue type deal, and then we're gonna do like a official welcome party. But like I said, this is like one of the rooms that's the most done, and it's like the only thing I'm really keeping is the bed and my vanity. The place is nowhere near done, and since it is more of like a long-term thinking investment, I'm not like in a rush to be like, I just moved in move-in party. Also, it's the summer. I feel like a lot of people are in and out of town, so definitely in the fall there's gonna be a move-in party. Like I have great amenities in my building, so I definitely want to do like a barbecue, like something outside with like the outdoor space. What factors made you buy a condo in a luxe building rather than in a townhouse? Which is a really great question, because honestly it is something that I definitely considered for my budget. I was like, oh my god, could I be buying like a brownstone in Brooklyn? And the answer to that was like kind of probably not for the exact area that I wanted. With that kind of came about just like a host of like other things that I felt like for a first-time home buyer, like I wasn't prepared to deal with. Number one, I would say, is probably safety and like security. Not that I think that I'm anything relevant, like let's be so for real here, but I love the safety and security of like being in a bigger building, like always having someone here being my doorman. There's always like someone physically here in the building. So if I'm like, you know, coming home from an event at 1 a.m., there's gonna be someone here. Also just for the safety of that people just can't like show up at my door, you know? I also just feel like being a woman, that's something that like I have to think about. Also, it just was like just a lot more sort of work. It would have been like a larger like renovation type project, I think, for my budget if I were to buy some sort of townhome or brownstone. They're gorgeous. I love walking by them, and like that's the cool thing about my area is that I live right next to some of them, so I can like experience that life without like physically like living it. And that's not to say that that wouldn't be something that I would want in the future, but I just knew for this period of my life I wanted like the safety and security of the 24-hour like people being in my building. I also like living in a building. Let me be so clear on that. I like not having to deal with like maintenance factors. You know, if you're in a brownstone, like you gotta maintain like your area, right? And you might have like a yard or steps or just anything. Like everything that's like outside my building, my HOA fee pays for, so I definitely use that. All my packages are like in a package room. The amenities in this building are great. You know, like I said, outdoor spaces, gym. I don't need to get into it, but like that was very important to me. I honestly have realized like I really like living in a big building, and I never thought that I would like being in a high rise like this high up, but I love it. I love having an amazing view. I love it being so bright. I've definitely made the right move on that. Not to say that that wouldn't be in the future. I just thought like for this first time home buying, I wanted it to be something that like wasn't super complicated. I didn't need to do a huge renovation project. Like I said, this just like kind of fit my life at this point. But maybe moving forward, if I ever like, you know, 10 years from now or something needed more space but still wanted to stay in the city, maybe, you know, I'm doing well in life, like that would be something I would consider, I think, for sure. I think it's definitely like a good question. And there are some beautiful, beautiful brownstones. I actually love walking on the streets, and like a lot of them have like for sale signs. My favorite hobby is looking them up and being like, ooh, I like this one. I feel like I already talked about this, but then like people are like, how long do you plan to keep the condo? And I kind of just said like, oh, I would move to a brownstone one day. Like this will be mine until let's just say, you know, if I'm buying something down the street, then I would probably sell this unless I were to keep it as an income property. The thing is, I don't really know. Like Right now my goal is to hold it for as long as I possibly can until it makes sense. But I would always love to like have a place in my family that's like in the city. So, you know, maybe this is the place, maybe it would be something else. I don't know. Does that answer your question? Are you on a health journey? You seem healthier / happier recently. Well, thank you. I also feel like I've been a lot more active. Not that I wasn't before, but like since, like I said, I live so centric to a lot of things. I feel like I'm just like out and about, walking around, getting my steps in unintentionally. My Oura Ring tells me that I am, which I do love this thing. I've gotten a lot of questions about the Oura Ring, and after having it for like a year and a half, I have to say, I love it. It's sleek, but it's like taking track of everything. And now I have like a year and a half of data on myself. Don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I think it's pretty cool. I haven't been in a consistent like workout routine at all. In the past, I've gone down on myself. I'm like, oh shoot, I can't like go to SoulCycle every day this week. It's like, oh my God, that's so dramatic. Let me go twice. Let me go once. Just to say that I went. It doesn't need to be like an all or nothing mindset. I feel like I've gotten a little more lax on that. I don't know, I can't really speak to like the eating because I definitely haven't been like the best. It's the summer, you know, I like ice cream, I like candy, but I feel like just trying to sneak in like little ways to be active every day, being out and about and stuff. I feel like that helps a lot. I also like self-tan, so I feel like that makes me look like I'm glowing. Maybe it even covers up some of my acne on my face, because that's definitely something I'm dealing with. But thank you. I will take that as a compliment. You know, I haven't weighed myself in a really long time. I don't know if I've like gained or lost a significant amount of weight, but I do just generally in my body these days like feel more confident. So I feel like that helps too. I just like feel good. I feel very like neutral, which is good. Like I'm not like, oh my God, I'm a supermodel. But I'm not like, oh my gosh, I can't leave my house today. You know, I'm somewhere in the middle, which is good. This is an interesting one. Favorite platform to post versus consume content on. And I have to say, I've just been heavy into YouTube these days. I'm watching long vlogs. I just have them playing on my TV, on my computer. I feel like I always do, but they've recently been especially like comforting to me. Or even another thing, I like to watch podcasts on YouTube. Canceled podcast, I'm so deep in that, and like Just Trish and like those adjacent ones. But even beyond that, like if it's just a podcast that I regularly listen to and I know that they do YouTube, I'm like, I'm gonna put that on there. I haven't been like the most inspired, I feel like, with YouTube, but I look forward to like reading my YouTube comments and like engaging with you guys the most. And I feel like when I meet people who watch my videos out and about, like you guys just like, you know me so well, like you get it, you know? Like we'll be talking and be like, I saw you tried that new like face wash or lip gloss or whatever. I'm like, wow, I can't believe you guys really know me. It's really cool. You can only know so much about a person when they do 60-second like short clips or just post pictures or whatever it is on like an Instagram or TikTok, which is great. But you know, how deep do you really know someone? I feel like we've been through some shit together. So YouTube will always be my favorite to consume and to post, I think. Oh my God, people want like budgeting tips. Guys, I am not your girl. I'm not your girl. Not sponsored. I will say the website Rocket Money, I still do use it. I started using it like earlier this year. I had like a freak out because I knew I was gonna buy this place, but I was just like, the timeline was a little bit like more condensed than I thought. I was always saving for something like a bigger purchase. I really was. Honestly, since like 2020, I was like, hey, I'm gonna wanna buy a home in the next like 5 to 10 years. Now I did it in 4 years, so it was a little bit shorter. So knowing that, I was like, we gotta like zip up things a little bit here, and Rocket Money really helped me with that. This literally sounds like it's about to be an ad. You plug in all of your bank accounts and everything, and it just like kind of all syncs to one place. And I still like, I have the alerts on, I check it. It's kind of like my budget tool tracker. Like I'm not necessarily setting like, this is my food budget for the month, this is my travel budget, but more so it's just a better way for me to be like overall aware of all my finances rather than it being like super segmented. I feel like if you have a lot of credit cards, or, you know, for me, I have like business accounts, I have personal accounts, it's kind of a little bit all over the place, but this kind of like syncs it all together. And like for my chaotic brain, that is very satisfying. Not an ad, but I genuinely love it. The thing that I have to say also about like moving and like owning and stuff is that, you know, it was like I had to pay like a big down payment. It was a lot of money and like a lot of stress and all of these things. Now every month when I pay my mortgage, I'm like, I am investing. I'm not like throwing away my money on rent, which in New York, that's, everybody does it. Like, I'm not saying it that way, especially in other cities. Like, it's really, we're in times where it's like so crazy. I feel like all of our parents, like that generation, everyone just like owned a home. I feel like our generation, it's not necessary, but I have to say it's a very like, it pains me less than paying my rent, paying my mortgage, because at least I'm like, hey, I'm paying for this thing. I'm touching my wall. Someone said like Botox filler update. I haven't touched my face with a needle in like a while. Well, I got my under eye filler dissolved for a second time. I did an ultrasound guided dissolving of my under eye filler because I hadn't gotten it for a while. It was just like, it had migrated like crazy. I just needed that out of my face. Like I feel like it created more problems than it fixed. In the very beginning, it looked fantastic. And I've also been dealing with like acne concerns and stuff. I was like, the last thing I need is to like put more stuff in my face right now. Even though I do love the glow of my forehead when I, get a little Botox in it. But I just decided that for the time being, I don't know when, like I might go back next week, who knows? But for the time being, in the present moment, I haven't been in a minute. Like I think it was like the winter when I went last. I'm fine with it. Like, I don't know. I definitely think it's something that I'm like gonna be, getting and doing again, but I feel like I want to take a little bit more of like a natural approach with it. Maybe do a little less. I don't know. I feel like having a little bit of movement, like it's normal. There's something about like feeling like super tight and like, the feeling of like having like a Botoxy face. You only get it if you get it. Like if you haven't gotten it, then you're probably like, okay, you sound like a crazy person. But it feels like, I don't know, it feels like you feel more snatched, but at the same time, I feel like I almost look younger with a little bit more movement and when I don't look like super tight. I feel like we put so much stress on like aging and like age gracefully or don't age gracefully, preventative aging, whatever, like all of the aging stuff, like it's really a lot. And like the skincare of it all, I feel like I've been on like some side of like TikTok and stuff where it's like, here's my skincare routine for no wrinkles as like a 30-year-old. I'm like, you're 30 years old, like, and do your thing, go do your preventative thing if you want to, but I don't know, I just am kind of like, I feel like we need to just live our lives. I definitely use some anti-aging like products and serums and stuff, but I don't know, I feel like it's not my number one concern. But I also am dealing with acne, so I feel like you could only fight so many battles at once. That's a thing that I never thought that I would really care so much about. I feel like I used to just see skin as very, you have acne or you don't, like you have clear skin or you don't. And now things that I find like that when I look at other women, I will look at their hair. I'll be like, wow, you got a nice thick head of hair. I feel like I notice that more in people now because I'm like, wow, as you get older, like, your hair just, it starts to shed more. You just have a little less of it, whatever. So I feel like I really have come to like appreciate that in other people. I'm like, wow, your hair gorgeous. And skin. When I'm looking at someone, I could tell, makeup or no makeup, that they have like that glass, no texture, no pore skin. I know that it's either they have amazing genetics or they are working for it with like the products and the routine and stuff. So I'm impressed either way. You go. I feel like everything you think about in other people is a reflection of what's important to you in the present moment. And I guess that just goes to show that skin and hair. Someone said my goals for the last few months of 2024. Yeah, like I can't believe it that the summer is almost over, which I hate to even say that. I've been really just basking in the summer and like the slowness I feel like of this summer. I just have felt a little less pressure to kind of like keep up with, the pace of New York City. I feel like New York City, like just, it gets a little more chill in the summer. Work stuff I feel like has been a little bit more chill, and then it kind of picks up, which I do like being busy, don't get me wrong, because your girl likes to work. I like to make money. I really do. I can't lie. I think goal-wise, Danielle and I are working on a new live show, because we're going to announce some live show dates for our podcast, and we're doing a completely new show. So I want to, have a killer Gals on the Go show. More to come on that soon. And just like keep, working at the podcast, have on some cool guests, and just, work on growing and building that. I think home-wise, just like getting the place together, making some decor decisions, like really just nailing it down. I want to travel a little bit more. It doesn't need to be like really anywhere crazy, but I would like to go on like a few more trips by the end of the year. So I'm just like speaking that into the universe and like, maybe something will come up. Be okay with not having the most consistent Monday to Friday fitness routine, but still infusing fitness in my life. I think that that's going to be important. My word of the year was clarity. I wanted to like get more clarity on like what I want for my life, and I feel like I still need that. I feel like I know short term like what I was working on, what I am working on, but for the long term I want more of that. That's like a big overwhelming thing right now. So I'm like, let's just focus till the end of the year. I also, like, I kind of talked about this in the beginning of the year. I wanted to like say yes to more like career opportunities, like do new things. I feel like I've been hosting more like community type of events, just like saying yes to public speaking opportunities, or if it's something like hosting related, like things that normally would make me feel very uncomfortable and out of my wheelhouse. Now I'm like, wait, I should do it. I should try it because, you know, maybe that's my thing, or maybe that's something that I try that I don't like, but you know, that I learned from that experience. I guess those are my goals. Read some more. Let's just say 10 more books. I could easily do that though. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. My brain's all over the place, as per always, but I don't know, I just feel like we needed to catch up. I feel like a lot of these are like the same questions over and over again. When's the ring coming? Like, let's relax. I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I wouldn't be able to, you know, do this without you. So thanks for hanging. Hope we had fun. Subscribe if you're new, or if you just haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I have been posting videos once a week, twice a week. I have another goal for the year. Get back to twice a week consistent YouTube posting. That's a good goal. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.